வந்திருக்கும் அனைவருக்கும் அமது வணக்கங்கள். எனது பெயர் வித்யானந்தகுமார். இன்று இரவு உங்களின் நிகழ்ச்சியை தொகுத்து வழங்குவதில் நான் பெருமை அடைகிறேன். என் சக அறிவிப்பாளர் மைக்கேல் சேலஞ்சர். இன்று நடைபெறும் ஆவணப்பட வெளியீட்டு பற்றிய மட்டுமல்ல, நமது உலகத்தை உரைக்கும் ஆழமான மற்றும் உண்மைகளை எதிர்கொள்ளக்கூடிய தலைவர்கள் ஒன்று படும் தருணம் இது.
A Ray of Hope is not just a film. It's a courageous perspective, a woman's unwavering stand against the shadows of history. Now, we will commence the ceremonial lighting of the lamp. As we prepare to premiere Ray of Hope, a beacon of inspiration, we are honored to commence the lighting of the lamp ceremony. The lighting of the lamp signifies auspiciousness, prosperity, and abundance. We kindly request our esteemed guests to remove their shoes as they approach the stage.
நன்றி. இப்பொழுது மங்கள விளக்கேற்றி நிகழ்ச்சியை ஆரம்பிக்கிறோம். உங்கள் பாதணிகளை கீழ்ப்படியில் கலட்டி விட்டுமாறு தாழ்முடியின் கேட்கிறோம்.
I am truly honored to join you tonight for this premiere and dinner gala screening of Ray of Hope. It was 12 years ago that the elected member of parliament for then riding Scarborough Rouge Park River entered parliament and spoke Tamil for the very first time. And in that speech, she not only talked about her journey, but her aspirations. And she represented the dreams and hopes of so many in the Tamil diaspora. We all know that this country welcomes people from all corners of the earth. To call Canada home, to find new opportunities, to make a new life. And part of that Canadian story is the story of so many Tamil Canadians who escaped war, who escaped crimes against humanity, who escaped genocide and risked everything they had to be in this country for future generations and for a better life.
It is my great pleasure to be here today with you to celebrate this important milestone, the Gala of Ray of Hope. And I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to Radhika and Ryan for providing us the opportunity to hear the victims of the genocide in Tamil. It is important for all of us that we have such great movies, documentaries. It is important for two reasons. First of all, to preserve history, to preserve the eyewitness accounts, and secondly, to educate the future generations about the horrors of war and heinous crimes against humanity, crimes of war and genocide. I speak from experience. My two grandparents were the survivors of two genocides, the Armenian genocide and the Greek genocide. And I know what it means to have the voice of voiceless around the world, sensitizing the public. It is true that books are written, but unfortunately we're living in a society and times where books are not read anymore, and more the audiovisual aspect is more prevalent. May I call on Radhika to give her my scroll, please?
Please get a round of applause.
It is so amazing to be up here and seeing all of you beautiful people this evening. Please give yourself a round of applause for making it out to making history. Come on, give it up for Radhika. And you must know, I always believe in woman power. And guys, I love you too. But woman, when you put your mind to do something, it doesn't matter how many years it takes, it's gonna happen. And we're seeing it here live tonight for the first time. So congratulations again, Radhika. Vadakam and welcome everyone. Is Radhika around? I have a scroll for her as well.
Vanakkam, and it's great to be here with this wonderful gala and screening of Ray of Hope. And I just want to say, I couldn't think of a more appropriate name, Ray of Hope, that actually represents, first and foremost, Radhika herself, being the first Tamil to be elected as Member of Parliament in Canada, but also knowing the great work that she has done in her own community and throughout Canada and certainly around the world. But Ray of Hope to me also represents the Tamil community in Canada. They have served for me as an inspiration because people in this country have come from all over the world, but the Tamil community had left behind family, friends, destruction, the atrocities that were thrust upon them. To leave all of that and to come to a new country and start a new life, they have done it with determination and grit. And truly, the Tamil community itself is a ray of hope and an example to so many. I want to congratulate Radhika and certainly everyone involved with the film. Congratulations.
Well, everyone, we want to say a big round of applause and thanks for everybody that was involved. Thank you very much, everybody.
So today we are here at the Ray of Hope event, and today we are going to witness one amazing movie covering a lot about Tamilian history. And today we have with us Ms. Sutha. So I would like to ask you one question, and she's one of the subjects in this movie. So I would like to ask you, why and how is this project close to your heart?
Thank you for doing the interview. This is really important to me because, I was born in Sri Lanka, and I was there till the age of 9, and I had to leave because of the civil war. So I'm not going to tell you what's in the documentary, but I do, I haven't forgotten where I came from. It's still in my heart. I left in 1987 when I was 9, and I haven't forgotten whatever happened afterward. And this documentary would explain what happened there. And the reason I took part in this is for the next generation, like my niece, nephew. They have to know what happened to us, our history, and this should not be forgotten.
All right, anything else that you'd like to mention? And who are those people who should watch this documentary?
Okay, so this is not just for Tamil people. We haven't got our 100% freedom yet. There's more work to be done. So this is important for the Tamil people and for the people who are all over the world, going through war, how, family get destroyed by this. And, especially living in this country, a lot of us are immigrant. And if you look at the question why they're here, a lot of them came through war too. So this could relate to so many people, so many other people.
Very nicely said. Like in this country, in Canada, most of us are immigrant. And when you ask this question, why we are here, has a lot of reasons behind it. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Right now, we have with us Nicola Cole, who's co-director and co-writer of this amazing piece of documentary, which is Ray of Hope. So my first question to you would be, what inspired you to write this amazing piece of art?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, JUS TV, for being with us today and helping bring the word out to the world about the work that we've just finished and are launching called Ray of Hope. Ray of Hope, I was asked to come on board. This was not my project originally. This is Ryan Singh's project and Radhika Sitsabayasan. And a few years ago, in the middle of the pandemic, I've known Ryan for many years, and he wanted to tell me about this amazing journey that he had taken with Radhika. And he had gone back to Sri Lanka with her, and they'd had this kind of harrowing experience. And he started to tell me, and I said, tell me more. This is an incredible story. I grew up on the west coast of Canada, and I had sort of headline knowledge of what had been going on in Sri Lanka. But really it was headlines and really nothing in depth. And then we heard the headlines, and there was some kind of war going on, and people were suffering, and then that was it. And I didn't hear about it again. The story disappeared in my life. So when I was told about the story and Radhika's story and the other Tamil people who had come to Toronto, I was intrigued. I really wanted to know more. And so then I was introduced to Radhika, and we met, and she felt that I could be instrumental in helping tell her story and her colleague's story. And so they asked me to come on board to co-direct it. And then I ended up co-writing it with Ryan. So it was one of those things that I was asked to come, and then I totally was like, oh, yes, I have to do this.
Amazing. And my next question to you would be, who are those people who should watch this documentary? Are those only Sri Lankans, or is it for everybody?
Oh, this film is for everybody. This is a story of genocide that has affected so many people in so many parts of the world. What drew me to the story is the human part of the story. The politics are there, but it was not my draw. It was not my full interest in being involved. I wanted to know what happens to people. My own background, my own family came as refugees as well, a couple of generations ago. And so I felt that the story should be told for everybody. People need to know particularly what happened in Sri Lanka, but they also, most importantly, need to know what happened to the people and the aftermath and what happened when they came here. So I think it's something that everyone should see.
Thank you so much for your wonderful explanation and your time here for this interview. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, JUS TV.
So we have with us today Radhika Sitsabaisian, who is the star of this documentary, and she's here with us now. So Radhika, my first question to you would be, why this documentary? What was the motive and reason behind this?
Of course. Thank you so much. And before I answer that, if I may, I just want to say a huge thank you to JUS TV for being here, covering the event, and helping us out. It's so great to have the community media come out and support our event. Ray of Hope. And this documentary is really a story that tells the story of so many Tamils and why Tamils are here in Canada. It speaks of the resilience of Tamils and speaks of the genocide of Tamils on the island nation that's currently called Sri Lanka. And it's so important because we need to be having these conversations with the whole world. And this is it. This is our contribution to tell the whole world about what happened and continues to happen to Tamils on the country that's known as Sri Lanka today.
All right. So is this documentary specifically for Sri Lankans, or is this for everybody to watch, or everybody should watch it?
Oh, absolutely for everybody to watch, because it's really a story where we have woven in the spirit of people who have survived war, survived genocide. We talk about intergenerational transference of trauma, and we also talk about and celebrate the beauty of the culture and the people and the next step in how we continue the advocacy work that's happening, that needs to happen at the United Nations or wherever it might be. And it's really about telling the whole world. So we need the whole world to watch it and come join us as allies. I mean, we've had conversations with a Ukrainian producer who was like, this is my story. I shared it with one of my students who's Peruvian, and she said, this is what happened to our people. So it's really the story of so many, and we are just having the story or sharing the story from our perspective.
All right. Thank you so much for your kind words and everything that you told us about the Ray of Hope. We are definitely here to celebrate and bring this cause forward. Thank you so much for your time. Now we have with us Mr. Barasaning Toll, and let's ask him what brings you here to this event.
What brings me here is because the content of the nature of the documentary is very sensitive, and I have some common history too as an Indigenous person here too. So, one mind, one heart. When we feel it, we're all part here together. So I'm here to support and to stand in solidarity with the purpose of this documentary.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to mention about Ray of Hope today?
I think it's very important to raise awareness of the genocide and to bring it into light so people will learn to follow by example. And so once this documentary is out, other people can do the same thing too and raise awareness, because this is serious. When we talk about genocide, it was always sugar-coated, but now people are standing up and they're like saying, here's what really happened, here's our true story. And when we learn that true story, we begin to work in solidarity where everybody's included, diversity and inclusion and support, and especially violence towards women. We want to redress that and let all the women know, the people that have been affected through these atrocities, that, hey, we're here to support you. We're here to walk with you so we can all thrive and have a great life.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. We love to have you, and we're happy that you are here for a greater and better cause. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
So now we have this amazing star cast, director, co-director, writer, and composer, as well as the broadcaster for this Ray of Hope. I would like to start asking some questions from Mr. Andres, like what sort of music and what sort of feels that this Ray of Hope would give you to the audience and to the people who are watching?
Well, it's a very, at moments, heartfelt, and some other moments striking and guttural, just emotional intention, right? This documentary not only talks about, generational trauma, the feeling of stateless, but other themes as well that are more keen and warm about the Sri Lankan community, the Sri Lankan culture. So musically, I try to first of all make justice, but also have an array of these different emotions and feelings.
All right, amazing. And one more question to you would be like, who are those people who should be watching this particular documentary, or is this for everybody to watch?
This is an international call. This is we made it not specific to any community, but this is just a call to everyone to watch and just have a taste of everything about the culture as well, but also the struggles and the voices that they haven't been heard. So I just wanted to make a quick thank you to my musicians as well. In the music department, I had the pleasure to work with Sri Lankan musicians, and they were very key element to complete the score. It was a collective effort.
Not only is Andres an amazing composer and very sensitive to everything that was happening in the film, but he researched and got authentic Tamil music and musicians and got the heart through those voices and the musicians themselves, which is, you don't find a lot of composers that will do that. He really went for it all the way, and he outdid himself constantly.
So he's definitely doing a great job. I asked you this question because it's very important. Because the way we put music and the way it plays out, the way it brings out the emotions, it's really important. So I'm really glad to know that and hear that you've been doing amazing job on that. So my next move to you, Miss, and you're the broadcaster with TET-HD. So what made you choose this documentary and to broadcast it?
Because this is our country problem. No? This is a multicultural, because this is our country problem. Most of the people doesn't know that still, because we are talking about the UNO too. Still, people doesn't know. So I'm very happy. I thought only Tamil people going to participate. This is a look at this. All the committee. This is a multi-committee people are participating. I'm very happy to. I'm one of the partner this program. I'm really happy.
Thank you so much for bringing all sorts of culture out.
Tell to the Ryan, okay?
Yeah. All right. So my next question would be to you, Mr. Director Ryan Singh. Yeah. Right. So what made you pick this Ray of Hope? What inspired you? What was the motivation behind this for you?
Well, for many years, I've been telling diverse stories. I myself, I'm a mixed heritage person. And I had just come back from South Africa. And when Radhika told me she was going to Sri Lanka, I was like, I'd love to come to Sri Lanka. I'm Indian. Come on. And she's like, it's not India, it's Sri Lanka. And I'm like, I don't know anything. And it's the closest place to India that I could probably go, get to understand my own culture and heritage. And so I jumped on board as the person to carry a camera for her. I didn't realize that it was 5.5 years or 4.5 years earlier that a war had happened with tens of thousands of people being killed. And then she whispered to me while we were there, we're having people looking at us. And by the way, there are a couple of people that just got kicked out of the country from New Zealand and from Australia. And so for me, it felt like an adventure, like watching The Bourne Identity, where all the time I felt like I was being watched. And so I kind of made it a gamification experience. I used my camera to be able to watch them while they're watching us. And so we had some very vibrant footage. But we came back here and we tried to get that story made. Nobody was interested. And so I spent 9 years pursuing that. And around the 8th year, I asked Nikki if she can join me. And she said yes. And she didn't know what she was getting herself into. But for 2 years, we labored and we got this film made. And I'm so happy that it was the film that we now have, because the film that I wanted to tell was just a film about a person who was going through something that happened in that period of time. But this film captures dozens of years of the Tamil experience, which is much more wholesome. So I'm really happy for that.
Okay, so my question to you would be, Miss, that you guys come from a different background and culture, right? So how, not I mean to say, like, when we talk about Sri Lanka, and it is like quite different from the culture that you are from. So, how is it for you to work on this script or to write this spectacular piece of art?
It's a really good question because we're documentary filmmakers. So we're here to listen. We do a lot of listening and a lot of questioning when we're working with a culture that is not our own. And there's a lot of sensitive issues. We're constantly working with consultants. Diana was there constantly with us. We're asking, and she's translating, and there's so many nuances that we don't know about. So we have to be researching, we have to be listening, we have to be sensitive, but we're also there to tell a story. So we have to work with the people who are in front of us and get their story, which is not a political story from our perspective, it's a human story. And we all come from backgrounds of genocides and refugees and all kinds of problems. So it's universally easy for us to jump into there while doing a lot of listening.
This here
There she
is Diana, and Diana was so important to this story because she was my thread to connect into the community, and in a lot of ways, who Diana was the same story that Radhika was, and so she became like my AI to Radhika. Right?
Yeah. So my question to you would be, Ms. Radhika, that Diana. Yes, you're Diana, and you're cultural consultant as well as executive producer. So, how is it working in this Ray of Hope, and what inspired you? What brought you to this particular piece of art?
First of all, thank you for asking me this question because I myself identify as Tamil Sri Lankan person. So I am super grateful to be part of this very meaningful documentary. The reason being is it is about immigrant story. On top of it is told to my community. So being part of this and telling the world what we went through and what we are still going through really matters a lot. And it helped me understand a lot of things that I myself didn't know. As a child, I grew up, I was born and raised in Sri Lanka, but by being involved in this documentary, I learned a lot that I didn't know.
Amazing, sounds amazing. And every piece of advice or everything that you guys just mentioned here about Ray of Hope and the documentary, which sounds absolutely amazing to us, and JUS TV is immensely happy to cover this. And we're all about immigrant stories. Everything about us is like loudly echoes immigrant stories and the coverage. We have with us Mayor of Brampton. Hello, sir. Welcome to this event. And
Great to be here. Excited for this film premiere.
definitely. So, what brings you here at this particular event? What do you think is unique and special about this particular event?
Well, I know Rafika. We both served as MPs at the same time. Always been a fan of hers. Her resilience and her fortitude, and really to highlight the lived experience of a community that has gone through a genocide. I think is important to put it to screen to help to have a broader understanding of the incredible horror of a genocide that occurred during our time, and how it happened in plain sight. And so I think for people like Rathika to have the opportunity to share their story is important.
Thank you so much for your time. I won't take enough of your time. And JUS TV is highly honored to have you interviewed today. We'd definitely love to invite you to our studios very time soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We have with us Mr. Collins, who's the cast member of Ray of Hope. So my first question to you would be, sir, what made you to be the part of this amazing piece of art?
I wanted to speak the truth and the facts that happened as a child when I lived in Sri Lanka.
And also one more question to you would be, who are who should be watching this particular documentary? Is it for just people who are from Sri Lanka or Tamilians, or is it for everybody to watch?
This is for everyone to watch and learn what happens to innocent people around the world.
And how was it for you working in this documentary?
It was very nice, and I'm very grateful for the people who put me on this interview.
All right, thank you so much for your time. So now we have with us Mr. Aris Babikian, MPP Scarborough Agincourt. Welcome to this wonderful event, sir. Thank you so much for coming and joining.
Thank you for providing me the opportunity to say a few words on this milestone occasion.
My first question to you would be, what brings you to this event, Ray of Hope?
Well, it brought me because in addition to being member of the provincial parliament for Scarborough Agincourt, I am also a survivor, the grandson of a survivor of a genocide, Armenian and Greek genocide. On both sides of my family, they were survivors. That's why it is important to support each other. All the communities went through massacres, crime against humanity, war crimes and genocides. We need to stand with each other. We need to support each other. And the other important issue is related to why we need to have more documentaries like that, more movies, feature movies, documentaries, because it is important. By having those kind of mediums, we are preserving history, preserving the history, and also the eyewitness accounts, because it is very important for to have the eyewitness account preserved, so that in the future, if there are any element, any individuals, any organization, they try to deny what happened to the Tamil people or Jewish people or Armenian people, we have the evidence. And the second issue, which is also very important, we through those documentaries, eyewitness account, we educate the future generations. The future generations need to learn about these atrocities, crimes against humanity, because that's how we not only preserve the history, but also prevent future group, nations, ethnic communities from experiencing what we have experienced. Because we do not want any other group or people to go through what our own kins faced, our own families faced. They were killed, they were persecuted, they were massacred viciously. So that's why it is important to be here to support this gala of the movie documentary Ray of Hope, so that we hopefully in the future there will be more filmmakers. They will document other parts of the story, because this is the beginning.
Thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you so much for sharing your cause and your reason for being here. I also personally believe that the way art can depict certain cause and echo its voice cannot be done by the same way by any other medium. So thank you so much for supporting the artist, supporting this film, Ray of Hope, and Just TV is also very honored to interview today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for providing me an opportunity to bring my two words on this occasion. These are words comes from the heart, because I know what it means to be a part of victim nation.
Thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We have with us Mr. Frank Scarpiti, Mayor, City of Markham. Thank you so much for giving your time to Just TV. Thank you. And before moving forward, I would like to ask you this very important question that I've been asking people today. What brings you today at this very event to the Ray of Hope?
Well, thank you. And thank you for Just TV for coming out and being a part of this celebration, really spreading the word of this beautiful film, Ray of Hope. Well, on a personal level, I've known Ratika for many years, was very impressed with her from the day she got elected as the first Tamil in Canada to be elected as Member of Parliament. She's been a strong advocate for the Tamil community. And certainly this film really personifies everything Ratika stands for, trying to bring light and awareness to the injustices that were done to the Tamil people back in Sri Lanka, bringing about the human rights atrocities that took place, raising the awareness, and reminding the world still that actions need to be taken. And I couldn't think of a more appropriate title of a film, Ray of Hope, because I think Ratika herself has been that ray of hope for the Tamil community. And the Tamil community itself, in many respects, has been a ray of hope as well. It's always a challenge when people come from other parts of the world, challenge of language and cultural barrier. But when you also come from a place they've had to leave behind family with all the very stressful situations back home, they've been truly an inspiration when they've arrived here to start a new family and start a new life here in Canada.
Thank you so much for acknowledging this hard journey of what she has been through, and also this celebration when we can finally talk about this openly and we are depicting it through the medium of art and media. And thank you so much for giving your time. We're truly honored. JUS TV is truly honored to have you interviewed today.
Thank you. Nandri.
We have with us Miss Andrea Hazel, MPP Scarborough Guildwood. And thank you so much for giving us your time. And before we move forward, I would like to ask you this very important question, that what brings you here today on this event, Ray of Hope?
So I'll tell you what brings me here today. I've lived in Scarborough from the moment I came from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I love everything about Scarborough and everything that is happening in Scarborough to move us forward. And so when I got this invitation came through to my office email, my hands was up. I didn't at that moment I said to my staff, if there is any appointments, you gotta clear the calendar, you gotta move it out, because when woman takes on a significant journey like this, stories that the whole entire of Canada and the world needs to know, and it's being captured by a woman, that is significant. I have to be here to support my sister. It was very important that I show up, but not just show up and advocate and support her.
I heard you from the stage as well, and you were so amazing, so inspiring, and I can see the zeal in you while you're talking about it. And personally, I feel world needs more people like you, who are so vocal and so open about the causes that need our attention and that needs to be echoed in the world. Thank you so much for your time. JUS TV is immensely honored to have you interviewed today. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to JUS TV. You're everywhere. You're all over. You're bringing what's important to the people, and keep pushing forward. And I am being interviewed by a woman. Keep it going. We are magnificent. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.